soloist and the concerto for orchestra. Scholte's Bartok in Budapest, Easter Monday at 8:30 on Channel 4.
Thursday sees the return of the Crystal Maze. Each week, a team of fresh-faced hopefuls venture deep into the heart of the Crystal Maze with one objective: to reach the Crystal Dome and scoop an exciting prize. But between them and that possibility lies a labyrinth of cunning games and tantalizing tasks.
Probably the best show in the world.
A new series of the Crystal Maze, Thursday at 8:30 on 4.
Now on for a trip up to TV heaven.
For the little boys and girls that's supposed to be in kit, and for the mums and dads that's supposed to be in kit, and for the aunts and uncles that's supposed to be in kit, here's a nice little fairy story. Bum, 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 bum. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him 2 lips like roses and clover. Then tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone. Don't have nobody to call my own. Please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him the word that I'm not a rover. Then tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone. Don't have nobody to call my own. Please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Bum 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 bum. Mr. Sandman,
yes?
bring us a dream. Give him a pair of eyes with a come-hither gleam. Give him a lonely heart like Pagliacci, and lots of wavy hair like Liberace. Mr. Sandman, someone to hold, would be so peachy before we're too old. So please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring us, please, 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 Mr. Sandman, bring us a dream.
Hello. Welcome to a rather special edition of TV Heaven. This week, instead of plundering programmes from a single year, we're filching treasures from an entire decade to bring you a feast of entertainment from the 1950s. A decade that saw television establish its place in national life with its coverage of the coronation, extend its technical know-how with live broadcasts from the continent, and expand its own horizons with the launch of a commercial television service as an ambitious rival to the BBC. Our whole programmes and clip compilations will capture the atmosphere of that decade, when the aftermath of the war gave way to a new confidence and prosperity. First up, the surging sound of British rock and roll from the launch of Oh Boy. A Saturday special. Remember those hour-long variety shows? Ours features Bob Monkhouse and guest double acts.
They have a good spell.
Then the first of Huey Green's Double Your Money.
Thank you, friends. Bless you all. Thank you very much indeed, and welcome to our very first show on television of Double Your Money.
The second episode of Richard Green as Robin Hood. And a gripping yarn of police action in the first edition of Dial 999.
Don't ever do that. I don't like it.
plus, of course, our usual compilation of vintage ads, credit sequences, and extracts from the archives. But first, oh boy. Until the 1950s, not much attention was paid to television for teenagers, which was a new word to describe young human beings with spending power. There was a vague feeling that they would probably be up to more exciting activities than sitting at home watching the telly. Another possible reason was that the middle-aged producers of middle-class BBC programmes simply didn't know what these young things called teenagers wanted. But they knew a man who did. His name was Jack Good, and Jack Good was the pioneer of pop music culture on British television, beginning with his 6-5 special on BBC, an enormous success, which led to a film and stage and concert versions, and these in turn led to a row with the BBC, and Jack Good was fired. So he moved across to ITV and started Oh Boy, and this was even faster and louder and more popular than 6-5 Special, which quietly faded away. Here's a typical fast and loud edition of Oh Boy, featuring prime 1950s talents as Lord Rockingham's 11, with Benny Green in the sax section, Marty Wilde looking rugged, Billy Fury looking wistful, and Cliff Richard, according to critics at the time, looking far too provocative for his own good. Jack Good went on producing pop music shows here and in America for something like 40 years. He has recently announced his intention of making a career move and becoming a monk. Oh boy. After the break, more from the 50s and a fresh face for Monkhead.
Something smells bad in Dr. Fleischmann's surgery. Remedy or hocus pocus? Northern Exposure, Monday at 10:25 on 4.
Colin Firth, Natasha Richardson and Kenneth Branagh star in A Month in the Country.
I would like to propose a toast to Mum's birthday because it could be our last.
Mike Leigh's acclaimed observation of suburban life, High Hopes. John Huston's The Dead, starring Angelica Houston.
Are we gonna... well, you know.
What's well, you know?
Film on 4 Take 2 starts tomorrow at 10:35 with Rita Sue and Bob too.
Welcome back to TV Heaven. And now our compilation of opening shots, which will show that in the 50s, with a few exceptions, title sequences were just a way of starting a programme, and not the miniature masterpieces they are today.
Over the points, 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 over the points. The 6-5 special steaming down the line. 6-5 special right on time. Coal in the boiler, burning up bright. Rolling and a rocking through the night. And my heart's a beating 'cause I'll be meeting the 6-5 special at the station tonight. Hear the whistle blowing, 12 to the bow, wow, wow. See the lights are glowing, bright as a star, wow, wow. Now the wheels are slowing, it can't be far. Over the points, over the points, over the points, over the points.
It's time to jive on the old 6-5.
Good afternoon and welcome once again to our gardening club. Green record lovers everywhere, and welcome to the show. Hello, Glenn.
Hello, Jack. Hello, baby. Hi, honey.
Variety shows played a bigger part in the television of the 1950s than they do now. For instance, every notable singer, say Alma Cogan, Yana, or Dickie Valentine, they all had a half-hour weekly variety series, which included a team of hoofers and a notable guest comic, say Terry Thomas, Alfred Marks, and Arthur Askey. And every notable comic, say Arthur Askey, Alfred Marks, had his own series, which included a team of hoofers and a notable guest singing star, say Dickie Valentine, Yana, or Alma Cogan. This cosy arrangement was disturbed, but not shaken, by Val Parnell, who ran the London Palladium and was variety chief of ATV. Mr. Parnell ripped off a new American idea of doubling the length of a show to an hour, building it round a single star, and calling it by a rather grandiose phrase, of which he had two American phrases to choose from, Saturday Special and Saturday Spectacular. Either special or spectacular also included, of course, a team of hoofers and some guest comics. We have an example for you now of an hour-length spectacular, trimmed down a bit on your behalf, which stars Bob Monkhouse and was written by Bob Monkhouse and Dennis Goodwin, who also supports Monkhouse in the sketches. An obligatory team of hoofers hoof energetically, and the mandatory guest stars include Pearl Carr and Teddy Johnson, Mike and Bernie Winters, and, the icing on the cake, Morecambe and Wise. This surviving 50s appearance of Britain's top comedy duo is a rare treat indeed. Funnily enough, it wasn't all that spectacular. The poor hoofers had only a few yards to dance about in. I suppose they didn't have the wide-angle lenses. I mean, these days, the lenses make musical items like those on Wogan, performed on less than half a small stage, look like the finale of a Hollywood musical. After the break, more from 1950s TV heaven and a date with Huey Green.
You know, I've been thinking.
All politicians are as honest as the day is... Oh, God, is that the time?
Sean Hughes. Big hand to Philip Schofield. Stephen Fry. Please welcome Phil Collins. Barry Manilow. Did you fly over on Concorde? John Sessions. Greg Proops and Brian Stiles. Wait, don't sit there thinking about it. Watch it. I'm back with a new series starting soon on Channel 4.
Clive Anderson talks back to an array of new guests, Friday, 10:30.
Don't talk back. Before we double your money, let's have a look at some of the fare on offer elsewhere in the 50s. A choice of viewing.
Oh, Coca! Bunter! Bunter! Have you seen that film, Bunter?
Not lately. What's wrong?
He's got my apples, a whole bag of apples in my study.
Sounds like Bunter.
Well, of course it's Bunter. Someone saw him sneaking down the passage from my study with them. If I get my hands on him...
Poor old Bunter.
Yeah. Bunter!
I say, you fellows.
Hello, hello, hello. Here comes the fat ass.
Oh, look out, Bunter.
Coker's looking for you, Bunter.
And is he wild?
Sir Coker is terrifically infuriated.
Doesn't think I've got his apples, does he? He knows you have, you fat ass. What about that one you're eating now?
What? Oh, that's not one of Coker's apples.
Oh, it wouldn't be, would it?
No fear. I haven't been near Coker's study all day. And if I went in there, I wouldn't have touched his rotten apples.
No,
I say, you fellas, I am in a bit of trouble, though. I've got to take 200 lines to quilts by tea time.
Well, you better hand them in, then.
I haven't done them. I've been too busy.
Yes, pinching Coker's apples.
I tell you, I haven't touched Coker's apples. If you think I got my pocket stuffed with Coker's apples, you're absolutely mistaken.
Oh,
Here comes Coker. Oh, I say, you fellas, I haven't got his apples. Really, I haven't. But if you'll hide me, I'll share them with you. Where is that fat frog? Ah! Oh! Very well, Bunter. Get him. Transformers apples, would you? Oh, jolly well. Leave it on me! Leave it on me! I get you. Come back, Bunter. Where are my apples? Bunter! Where are my...
Well, what do you think of that?
Are you asking me?
No, Ada, my dear, I'm addressing our guests, although I can't see what you've got to be niggly about.
Can't you?
You know, for years and years, she's been nagging me to get a television set. Now, wouldn't you say
Why
that...
don't we have one instead of that mockery? Honest, I've met some mean men, but you should...
Eddie, the next slide, please. Bognor Regis. Now, that's where we spent our holiday in 1952. No, I'm telling a lie, 1953. Now, you see that black spot in the distance? That's the pier. Eddie, change the background music, please. Much, much better. Right, the next slide, Eddie. Now, here we have mine host in sportive mood. You will observe the red and yellow bathing suit on loan from the corporation.
And while you're about it, observe the corporation.
Ada, do you mind? Right, the next slide. Family group on the beach.
I want a television.
This is a television.
It's a magic lantern and you know it.
Yes, it was a magic lantern, I admit, but I've adapted it to conform to the modern trend. Entertainment in the home at a price anybody can afford. Now, could you ask for anything more?
A television.
Yeah, television, innit? Marvellous. She's been on so long about this flipping television, you've got a one-track mind.
I've got a one-channel magic lantern, that's what I got.
One channel? That's where you make a mistake, as I shall now demonstrate, Eddie, the commercial.
Good morning, Mrs. Brocklebanger. No, it's my glasses. I've got frames. I'm waiting for lenses. I can't just... With the weather, it has. No, well, I haven't been out. Oh, you can't. I mean, it doesn't, you know, in the morning, you don't, you know, when... How's your Alice going on? Is she still in the laughs? In the canteen? Oh, she'll do well there. She's been in a mess before, hasn't she? Well, no, I thought of going out today. I thought, well, I'll go out because, you know, you never know who has. Have you? Oh. Well, I haven't been well myself, you know. Have you really? Oh, dear. Do you mean with, Yes. I wouldn't worry. Oh, no. Perhaps it's this white bread, you know. You can't tell me. With me, well, no, I've been right off. No. Oh, no, I keep having those hot sweats, you know. These men, they don't know what it is, you know. They just... I do. You know, I tell him sometimes. So do I.
Mesmerized by a feedback circuit. No bibliophile handles a rare binding more tenderly. But it's no good coming in if you don't speak the language.
Good morning. I have a 12-inch base unit. I'd like to buy a Trevex tweeter, please.
Yes, sir, I have one in
Could I
stock
see
there.
one?
Yes, sir, there's a Trevex tweeter. That would cost £6 To go with that, of course, you'll need a crossover unit, which crosses over at 5,000 cycles and enables you to give the correct registers to the appropriate speaker.
Oh, well, of course, that is no good to you at all. You must have one of these better class units, which has ultralinear output stages. The distortion factor on it is very, very low indeed. Somewhere in the region of 0.1% at 10 watts output.
That will be £6 for 2 guineas, £1 4 and 6, £1 3 and 6, which gives you £10 14 and 7 shillings, £11 1 shilling.
Worth every penny. Record shops have turned into glossy cathedrals. See how the assistants have become church wardens. To every worshipper, a stall.
Is there something the matter? You're shivering.
I've just come back from seeing the doctor.
Just what I thought. I told Mr. Lawson you hadn't been looking yourself lately. He said you'd been working too hard and staying up very late. I didn't like to say anything.
Mrs. Lawson.
You've been crying.
Shut the door.
Miss Morley. Oh, dear.
I'm going to have a baby. You can't believe it, can you? I can't believe it.
I didn't think it could ever happen to me.
You sure?
I'd give anything to doubt it. It's 2 months. I'm scared. I'm really scared.
Have you told anyone?
No, if my mother and father knew, I think it would kill my mother. They think this is the sort of thing that happens to bad girls. I expect that's what everyone thinks.
Well, I've heard it said that bad girls don't have babies.
I expect you'll turn me out. Oh, I don't expect you to think that I didn't know what I was doing, but what am I going to do? I feel caged, trapped. I shall have to give up my job. How can I explain why I'm giving it up? Where can I go? What can I do? I can't face it. I'll go off my head. If I feel like this, the doctor should take it away.
Did he say he would?
I asked him and he refused. How can he refuse? Haven't I the right to say whether I'll have a child or not? Girls do far more than I've done, and they don't get caught. They'd laugh at me for getting caught. There are things one can take. I'll go to London. I'll poison myself. I won't have it.
Isn't there anyone you know who'd help?
No one.
Maybe if they knew, it might change things.
Changes nothing. I'm on my own. When I woke up that first night, it seemed as if there was a cold hand here. And I knew then I was alone.
I was sort of late, too, and when we got in the studio this morning, all our eyes were shut. And our producer-director, Mr. Redgewatch,
His eyes were shut as well.
he came out and he said, "You are a fine lot," he said. "Do you realize that today this show is being telerecorded for posterity?" And we said, "What's that?" And he said, "Well, it's actually being filmed because there's a lot of people who can't see Lunchbox at lunchtime, and we decided today to take a film so that we can show all these happy people what they've been missing." He said, "Would you open your eyes and smile and, you know, keep your heads up and young, you know, and...
Chest out, tummy in.
It's a dreadful effect. Forget all about it and go back to normal."
Fine selection there. Our next programme tonight is one of the young ITV network's game shows, Double Your Money. The 1950s were considerably enlivened by the arrival on our screens of Hughie Green, a brash young Canadian showman who'd made a success on Radio Luxembourg and wanted to move in on the British TV scene. His very frequent use of a hitherto unknown word, "all right," and a stock of phrases such as, "and I mean this most sincerely, folks," plus a habit of rolling his eyes at the screen for sympathy, soon made him the darling of the Impressionists. But I suppose it was really his bulletproof self-confidence which was his making. Here is the unthinkable Hughie Green presenting the first ever recording of his show, Double Your Money. All right. I must say, congratulations, you're taking away with you tonight £8. Does date it a bit. Stay tuned for our Where Were They Then after the break. And then Robin Hood takes a bow. Or should that be a bow?
Fragile Earth, Channel 4's environmental series, continues, telling the stories of natural and human threats to our planet.
We are the hope that will never die.
Fragile Earth continues on Channel 4. Without Walls this week investigates whether the public are being taken in by slick sales patter at auctions. Fenella Fielding looks at smoking and the sale of smoking accessories. John McCreerick tries to spot the favourites among sporting art. Without Walls, Tuesday at 9 on 4.
It's the morning after.
It all started when Sean got out of bed.
The night before.
Well, you don't look too handsome with the lights on. Said, well, you were the one who insisted we do it in the fridge.
Sean can't remember.
I didn't. I didn't.
His girlfriend would rather forget.
Me and Susan, we were so close. We were like Peters and Lee.
And then?
And then we started drinking.
The unforgettable, Sean's Show, Wednesday, 10:30 on 4.
Before we whisk you off to Sherwood Forest, it's time for us to ask, who's that on that cliff?
Steel-edged boots, which can really grip on the rock and stay gripped, even in wet weather when the rock may be slimy, and rubber would come off. But we're not using boots today because we're on sandstone here at High Rocks near Tunbridge Wells, and if we use nail boots, there wouldn't be much of the rocks left after a while. And so we use either gym shoes, and here's Michael wearing a pair of ordinary gym shoes which you'd wear when you were playing tennis or doing gym. They're quite satisfactory for climbing on these sort of outcrops. And the second man paying out the rope carefully. It's got a bit tight with him actually sort of leaning on it. So you see it's a good knot. It didn't come undone when a bit of pressure came on it. He yells, "That's me."
I'm coming out.
And he starts to come round the corner. There, that's how a rock climb is done. One at a time moving, somebody tied onto the mountain the whole time.
That was his first big break into rock, I suppose. Now let's have a look at what you could have been spending your pounds, shillings and pence on in the 1950s.
Gleam, the toothpaste for people who can't brush after every meal.
And Dream, the perfume shampoo and the new sachet present an exciting new contest. You can win £100 a year for life.
Or £2,500 in cash. In this easy-to-enter Gleam Dream contest. You need no special knowledge.
£100 a year for life could mean a fabulous holiday every year. It could bring new elegance to your home. It could mean real security for your retirement.
But £2,500 in cash. Would you buy a fast car, start a business, take a trip around the world?
You can win £100 a year for life.
Or £2,500 in cash.
When you enter the Green Shampoo
Gleam Toothpaste
contest.
Ask your grocer or chemist for full details tomorrow.
Swing. It looks fun, doesn't it? It is fun. And you'd enjoy trying it yourself. You're never too old to learn, and the exercise will do you good. You could learn all the dances if you came to Arthur Murray's. You'd learn fast, too, even if you've never danced a step before. And you'd enjoy your lessons so much you'd always be looking forward to them. There's nothing like dancing for a new interest in life. But why not find out for yourself? If you're over 21, ring Trafalgar 7112 right away and say, "I'd like a free trial lesson." It will place you under no obligation, and you really will enjoy it. So don't put it off. Ring Trafalgar 7112 right away. If you can't get through, keep on trying. We'll be waiting till 10 p.m. So for a free trial dance lesson without any obligation, ring Trafalgar 7112 now.
For silken curls he loves to touch, use Twink. For silken curls that last and last and last, use Twink.
Engine jive, jumping jive, knocks by kids in a bonfire jive. Go, kids, go, don't be slow. Bite that bar and you'll come alive. Crunch or chew, the bar for you is Knox!
Knox Bar, the chocolate special. Knox Bar, the crunch or chew. Knox Bar, well, that's about it. Nutty as a nut about Knox Bar. It's nutty, crunchy, chewy. It's Knox.
RK Records! With the new Kellogg's RK Record Club, you get hit EP records for only $4.09. Top numbers from the American Hit Parade. These Kellogg's Rice Krispies packets tell you how to get popular EP records for only $4.09. Collect your own Hit Parade now with Kellogg's Rice Krispies.
All that, and you still have change from a 10-bob note. Now on to a swashbuckler. As the young commercial television flexed its muscles, it scored a huge success with its costume drama series. These weren't from the same stable as the historically correct BBC classic serials. ITV's filmed adventure yarns owed more to Errol Flynn than to history, and were put on early evening to attract young viewers. But they were a surprising hit with adults too. and did very well financially, selling abundantly abroad, even to the USA, who were unused to any history earlier than the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. ITV's trick was to turn the myths and legends of history into simple adventure yarns with a bold hero. There was Marius Goring as the Scarlet Pimpernel, Roger Moore as Ivanhoe, Robert Shaw as Dan Tempest in The Buccaneers, William Russell as Sir Lancelot, and Conrad Phillips, with his sheepskin waistcoat on inside out, as William Tell. But the most memorable of them all was Richard Green as Robin Hood. They seem to have got everything right from the start. The signature tune, which most of us can still remember, that arrow twanging into the tree, boing. Richard Green was the perfect hero. His tights weren't wrinkled like those of his louche merry men, who included, you'll notice, Rumpole himself, Leo McKern. No 5 o'clock shadow darkened Robin's dimpled cheek. Maid Marian has not yet entered his life, and he's not even leader of the gang, but looking good.
Robin Hood, riding through the glen. Robin Hood, with his band of men. Feared by the bad, loved by the good. Robin Hood, Robin Hood, Robin Hood. He called the greatest archers to a tavern on the green. They vowed to help the people of the king. They handled all the trouble on the English country scene and still found plenty of time to sing. Robin Hood, riding through the glen. Robin Hood, with his band of men. Feared by the bad, loved by the good. Robin Hood, Robin Hood, Robin Hood.
Sherwood Forest was actually shot in Nettlefold Studios, one of the smallest in the country, amidst a wired-up mass of dead and dying bushes. They did have one huge hollow oak, which looked so good on screen that they put it on a cart and trundled it from shot to shot. After the break, police action with Dial 999.
Are you the Messiah?
Jesus Christ!
Jesus Christ, actor.
They gave me a blonde wig and a blonde beard.
Hero.
He doesn't kiss anyone. He doesn't fall in love.
Revolutionary.
I'm the end of the old law and the beginning of the new one.
And above all, controversial.
It's filthy, indecent.
From the Turin Shroud to the Last Temptation of Christ. A fascinating history of Jesus Christ, the movie star, Easter Monday at 7 on 4.
There are 2 golden rules for an orchestra. Start together and finish together. The public doesn't give a damn what goes on in between.
Timothy West stars as Sir Thomas Beecham in an absorbing biography for Easter Sunday at 7. Glenda Jackson and Joan Plowright star in The House of Bernarda Alba, a tale of repressed passion at 8:35.
Any woman who forgets her decency will pay for it!
Tomorrow from 7 on 4.
The most exciting.
Oh, what a thrill!
The most innovative.
The power that signals success is the power of your mind.
The most intriguing.
Adult entertainment.
I think it's the goddess of love.
The most chilling.
Just call me Floyd. Ah!
Some of the best cinema north of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Beginning with the spellbinding Cannes Award winner Jesus of Montreal. Cinema Canada, Tuesday at 10 on Channel 4.
We tie off the evening with a good, solid police drama. Now, co-productions aren't a recent development. They were with us from the beginning, inevitably requiring changes to the style and content of the co-produced programs to make them more palatable to their own viewers. The American company, ZIV Television Productions, Inc., was a pioneer co-producer in British television and spent a lot of money here in the 1950s. And one of the programs which they helped to set up and finance was an early cop series set in London. But what kind of English cop show would make sense in the USA, as well as appeal to British viewers? No problem. ATV got Ted Willis to sort it out, and the result is a textbook demonstration of co-production compromise. Ted based the series on a topical British issue, the emergency alarm call 999, which had just been introduced in London. And to satisfy North American customers, he made the hero granite-jawed Mike Maguire, a detective in the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, seconded to Scotland Yard to learn its methods. Thus, Ted Willis could logically make the program a tourist guide to London's streets and Cockney speech, as well as hard-boiled drama. And here it is, the opening episode of the series, Dial 999. I knew he'd get his man. Next week, fast forward to 1966, and we have for you Sid James and Peggy Mount in George and the Dragon.
And I, for my part, promise you, I will not be deliberately provocative.
I will do my best to restrain myself.
An atmospheric drama from a story by John le Carre, starring James Mason. Dare I weep, dare I mourn?
What's the matter with me, a man of my age, looking the way I do? Forgive me. It must be the excitement or the confusion.
And Patrick McGowan in a sparkling episode of Danger Man. But until then...
Are you me?
No.
Great.
Oh.
If there could be a window, bright and clear, that you and I could look through and see our future years, would I see you beside me, your loving hand in mine? Would I find us together until the end of time? If there could be a window in the sun to show us each tomorrow and everything we've done, would I find you beside me, sharing every day? You would find me loving you the way I do
Sean Day-Lewis has written a history of television programmes to accompany TV Heaven. The fully illustrated booklet is available by sending a cheque or postal order for £4.95, payable to Channel 4, to TV Heaven, P.O. Box 4000, London W3 6XJ.